I recommend Grace Cho's work. She's the daughter of an American GI who was stationed in Korea, and a Korean woman who at the time was called a hostess. But her mother, and her father moved to somewhere like Ohio or Iowa or somewhere Midwest, right? Basically, she's like a mixed race girl that looks Korean. And her mother, there were no other immigrants. Everything was really white there. So her mother had this big period of adjustment, also post-Korean War. And she basically decided, Grace Cho, to do her PhD dissertation in sociology all about the Korean diaspora. And so she wrote a dissertation which became a book, and it's called Haunting the Korean Diaspora. But after that, she wrote a memoir because all the time, including the haunting element, she'd been haunted by her mother's particular story and how much her mother didn't tell her. You'd relate to this. You know, things that she just would never mention and not want to talk about. And so she found ways to get her mum to connect more to her by making her Korean foods, which at first she didn't like because she didn't know how to make them properly, or it wasn't her mum's favorite. And at one point, her mother said to her, oh, I don't like this one. It tastes like war, like that. And that gave the title to her memoir. And her mother, later in her life, at the age of 40, developed schizophrenia, which is really weird because most people who develop schizophrenia, it's only in their youth that it kind of starts, and it doesn't develop later in life. But if you think about it, she recognized the signs in her mum because her mum was hearing voices and speaking to people who weren't there. And anyway, she got her hospitalized a few times because she really deteriorated. But her caring for her mum became a way back in to a relationship with her, to be able to understand what made her tick. And to be sure, as an immigrant, she also, in her own quiet way, built a life in the US and found a way to be accepted in the local community because she gathered things like berries, wild berries, and she set up a stall, businesswoman, and so there's things like that come out in the memoir. But the memoir also traces how elements of stigma and loss and everything like that in the Korean War really impacted on her mother's identity and self, and that in some ways it's trauma, really. Surprise, surprise, right? Which resulted in her mental health issues. But it's just a very sensitive, beautiful memoir, which won a National Book Award or something like that. So someone recommended it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. The dissertation is an academic thing, and it's not specifically about her mother. But then in the memoir, she does something else. And of course, the general reading public can get into that. And so that's an academic doing good, isn't it? Did I do good?